Hello, Danny D. and DQ. Welcome back to the request quarter.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the request quarter where I, DQ, and my colleague Danny D over here take your requests. So, before we get into our next request, how was your vacation, Dan?
It wasn't bad, just did some things with the kids. I heard you and Darren's top 10 all time NFL busts.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it very much. I agreed with a lot of the names you said, or pretty much every name that you and Darren said. I like how you kept it kind of modern with inside the 21st century kind of class. And then I liked how Darren broke it out back into the 90s and the 80s of some teams, some old busts that younger NFL fans might not have known, so it was good coverage, I thought, on both sides. I just thought you guys might have missed out at a couple names. If you don't mind, I'm just going to just run them off real quick, just to get a take. What do you think? How about quarterback for Tampa Bay Buccaneers? He was drafted in 2009 in the round one, pick number 17. He go by the name of Josh Freeman.
He was a first round pick. That's disgusting.
And then of course I don't even know how you guys didn't how you missed out on this one. Matt Leinart to the Arizona Cardinals. What was that? Pick 7?
I thought of Matt Leinart, Dan. I truly did, but I left him out for some reason.
And just while we're on Matt Leinart, his buddy in USC, his right hand man, Reggie Bush too. Reggie Bush did play for a lot of teams. He made his way around, but he was really nothing special. But yeah, that was just. I thought you guys did a good job about that. I agreed with a lot of your posts. There was a couple names I would have threw out there. It was just my sense.
All right, so now that we've heard the opinions of the peanut gallery, let's move on to this request quarter. This request comes from a YouTube user that goes by the name of Anonymous Name. Anonymous Name.
Good name.
Great name, by the way. Yes. Anonymous Name asked me and Danny D over here to list who we think is going to be the most effective offensive and defensive rookie in the 2017 season.
That's a pretty damn good question.
That is a pretty damn good question. So I'm going to start off with you, Dan. I want to know, who do you think is going to be the most effective offensive rookie in the NFL this season? You know, even like Offensive Rookie of the Year awards.
Oh, you're thinking not only who will be most effective, but who could probably take home the championship of Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, sure. Give me both.
All right. So, before I even say my answer, I want to thank Anonymous Name. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support, and thanks for that awesome fucking question. So, I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. Now, I'm not 100% sold on Christian McCaffrey just yet, but just watching this preseason week 1, he looked pretty dynamite against a Houston Texan defense. I know it's week 1 of the preseason and not all the starters are out there, but the man can hit the hole. He's going to be a dual threat, catching out of the backfield and also rushing with Cam Newton.
So you're saying you think he's going to be the most effective, or you think he's going to win the Offensive Player of the Year award, or both?
I think that he's going to be both. I think he's going to have I think he's not going to do
Does that answer your question, Anonymous Name?
My thing is, like, I can see Leonard Fournette rushing for like 1,000 yards and having like 10 or more touchdowns and like possibly winning Offensive Rookie there. But with Christian McCaffrey, he's not going to have 1,000 yards rushing probably, but he'll be having maybe like 700, 800, and he's going to have 5 or 6 touchdowns. And then you're going to look over to the receiving side, and he's going to have about the same number again. It's going to be 600, 700, 800 receiving yards with 5 or 6 touchdowns.
You're saying Christian McCaffrey,
all-purpose yards, he will beat him, and in touchdowns together. So just because of being the dual threat running back and he can catch.
You're saying Christian McCaffrey, the most effective offensive rookie of the year.
Yes.
As far as helping out his offensive unit.
And most likely offensive rookie of the year. So far, this may change over the time in the season, but as of preseason week 1 that we're in, I'll say Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
What do you got, DQ?
All right.
Not agreeing with me, I'm taking.
No, of course not. Of course not. I think the rookie that's going to come in and be the most effective and help out their offensive unit the most is going to be somebody that surprises a little bit for me to be saying this, and that is Dalvin Cook, second
Ooh.
round pick by the Minnesota Vikings. I think by week 5, 6, he's going to end up beating Latavius Murray out for the starting job out in Minnesota. And to be honest with you, I can picture Dalvin Cook getting damn near close to 1,000 yards rushing and very easily breaking 10 rushing touchdowns. I think that is going to be the most effective offensive rookie in the year. And another little shocking, my selection for who I think might even win offensive rookie of the year could be someone who might not even be starting week 1, and that's quarterback Deshaun Watson.
Oh.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. I don't even think Houston's going to make the playoffs this year, but I think Deshaun Watson is going to go down there, and I think again, this is somebody who's probably going to start by like week 4 or 5, and by then the record will probably already be in shambles, so he'll be handed a sinking ship, but I think he at least has what it takes to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, Dan. So let's move on to defense now, the other part of Anonymous Names request. I want to know who you got as your most effective defensive rookie in 2017, Dan.
The person that I will take in the defensive rookie of the year and who is going to make the biggest impact, he's going to take both, I think, again, like I said, for offense. He was the second pick in the first round for the Tennessee Titans, and that's a cornerback from USC, Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson.
He's got a lot of raw talent, but he has tremendous makeup speed. I think he's going to end up leading the rookie cornerbacks in interceptions this year. It's a bold prediction from me. And yeah, I could see Adoree Jackson being number 2 maybe for the first couple weeks, but he's going to assert himself and show himself that he's going to be a number 1 receiver stopper, and they'll make him the number 1 corner in Tennessee. And if you think about it, you got T.Y. Hilton in Indianapolis. That's pretty good, you know what I mean? But taking on like
DeAndre Hopkins and Houston.
Well, yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, but it's only just those one guys, and then the other receivers after them, you know what I mean? Is really a really hard drop-off, because I'm not going to take anything away from DeAndre Hopkins or T.Y. Hilton, but after it's them two, it goes down in the thing. So he'll prove to himself that he can cover these number 1s. I think he'll break out and become the defensive player for 2017. What's going on in the mind of DQ?
All right, well, actually, a lot has gone through my mind as far as this request and this particular side of it as far as the defense, because I think that this was an amazing defensive draft. I saw a lot of defensive players that I think are going to be very effective coming right out of the gate, and even a couple who were drafted very, very high who are going to fall flat on their faces. Again, this is just my opinion, but I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens' first 4 draft picks, Dan. I've read that these 4 guys are potentially going to start, okay? With their first pick in the first round, they picked Marlon Humphrey, all right, a cornerback out of Alabama. I wanted Buffalo to draft Marlon Humphrey. I thought he was pretty damn good, and they picked him up, pick number 16. Then, in the second round, they got an amazing linebacker in Tyus Bowser out of Houston. He's going to be expected to fill the role of Elvis Dumervil coming in this year, so he's definitely going to be starting. Then, in the third round, they drafted Chris Wormley, a defensive end out of Michigan. Chris Wormley, I've watched some of his game footage. The kid's a monster, okay? He's going to be blowing it up at the defensive end position down in Baltimore. And also in round 3, the Baltimore Ravens picked up linebacker out of Alabama, Tim Williams. This kid played with Reggie Ragland back in college, and he was also a teammate of their first round pick, Marlon Humphrey, okay? He had 19 and a half sacks in his last 2 seasons over in Alabama, and 48 tackles, which is not that much, but 28 and a half of those tackles were for a loss. He's known as a pass rushing demon, or coming on your outside linebacker. So you got 2 rookies on your linebacking core, a rookie cornerback and a rookie defensive end. And I think they're all going to do pretty damn amazing. But if I'm going to have to pick a specific defensive individual, I think, again, my mind has gone through many things here. I've thought of DeCaris McKinley. I've thought of Garyon Conley, to name a few. But I'm going to have to go with who I think is the best overall player, all-around player in the entire draft coming out in 2017, and that's safety Jamal Adams, pick number 6 by the New York Jets. I think Jamal Adams is going to be culture-changing out there in New York, and I think that him along with the other safety that they drafted up in the second round, is going to be pretty damn good.
Would you say that you believe that Jamal Adams is potentially going to take the Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I think Jamal Adams could definitely have Defensive Rookie of the Year written all over him. I think this kid's going to come out. I think he's going to have a decent amount of forced fumbles. I think he's going to be stripping the ball every chance that he can. His interception numbers might not be too high, but let me tell you this, he will have a decent amount of tackles because he's not afraid to get up there in the run game. So, yeah, I think Jamal Adams is definitely potential for Defensive Rookie of the Year. But as far as most effective rookies, I'm going to have to go with, like I said, the Baltimore Ravens' first 4 draft picks. So that's our request this time around. But what we want you to do is we want you to drop a line below, and we want you to let us know what your request is so that we can have another request quarter coming your way.
Please, if you do send in a request, I would hope that maybe you also have an awesome name as anonymous name. So thanks for tuning in. Give us a like on Facebook page, the Danny D and DQ Untitled Sports Show. And it was been a pleasure, DQ.
Yes, as always.
And we'll see you next time.